Protests today on the streets of Kyiv. People taking to the streets more than 4 years after Russia launched that full-scale invasion. Thousands now gathering in Kyiv and other major cities, upset about corruption. Joining me now is Scripps News Chief International Correspondent Jason Bellini. He's walking with the demonstrators. Jason, what's happening now?
Adele, making their way right now to Zelensky's office with their message. Now, I want to bring in someone that I ran into, a friend of ours, and someone I would describe as an important person here in Ukraine. This is Francis Farrell. He's the senior correspondent for the Kyiv Independent, and he spent as much time on the front lines as I think it's about any journalist. And you were there fairly recently, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time on the front line at the moment because, on the one hand, Russia's offensive has slowed down a lot, and we do see this positive narrative change in the course of the war. But if you do go to the Donbass, where it's still the hotspot, you know, they're still moving forward. It's still as intense as ever, and, you know, this war is not stopping anytime soon.
So what would you say this is about?
So the minister that was dismissed by Zelensky just a few weeks ago, he was something pretty special in the sense that he was young, extremely intelligent, and first and foremost, motivated by a tech-driven strategy for victory. And the crazy thing was that it was working. That, you know, in terms of long, deep strikes into Russia, in terms of the front line, in terms of so many processes that he was just optimizing behind the scenes, you know, using drones to fight instead of people. That's probably more than anyone the person that's responsible for this feeling that Ukraine is now, you know, turning the tide back in their favor. And with that in mind, Zelensky's decision to dismiss him was kind of baffling, and there are a few main reasons. One was the conflict between him and the commander-in-chief, who had a very kind of Soviet-minded approach to war. And but then that commander-in-chief was dismissed thanks to the protest.
Syrskyi was dismissed. Yeah. And that brings us to now, where the protests are continuing. You know, I wanted to go to Del for a moment. Del, is there anything you want to ask me or Francis? I can relay your question if you have something you want to ask.
Yeah, Jason, as I see you walking with the demonstrators, I'm curious, is this a sign of a strong democracy or a sign that Volodymyr Zelensky is losing control?
Del, our anchor, just asked if this is a sign of a strong democracy. I'll give you my answer, Del, and that is yes, affirmatively so, because, one, it's had impact. Syrskyi, the commander-in-chief, was fired, and you have also protests that are peaceful here. I mean, this is kind of the model of democracy when you think about it, because the police aren't breaking things up, the government isn't stopping it. How would you answer that question?
Yeah, I think if you look at last year, the protests against, in favor of the independence of anti-corruption agencies that eventually took down some of the corrupt figures in Zelensky's inner circle. And this, like, time and time again, Ukraine proves that it still has a free press, it still has a civil society, and all of those things, even in wartime, even when in a Western democracy, you know, that all might be suppressed, they are still turning out, showing up on the streets, and making change, and most importantly, holding power to account. You know, that's always been a tricky thing in Ukraine, but more and more we see that the value of these people and the strength of them. Back to you, Del. Thank you. It's time for
Jason Bellini for Chief International Correspondent. Live on the scene. Jason, I'll let you observe this moment of silence. So we interrupted the last moment of silence, so we will take it from there.